Hey you guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? I'm going proper freestyle. I haven't even made, my notebook is not open. I've not even made notes today. I actually just really felt like sitting down and being present with you guys. And the collective intuitions is just an overarching theme that I'm developing on this channel as far as like where the collective life purpose is endeavoring to support humanity in the paradigm shift. So the paradigm shift is also known as maybe ascension or spiritual awakening, or you could also probably a mental breakdown or an emotional breakdown. As above, so below, as without. And when we are perceiving a world of fear, there's a way to heal from within ourselves. And the healing is within our heart space, and it's from a perspective of unity and love. Radical transformational process on this planet, though, because of the veils of darkness and also the layers of persecution energy that most of humanity, the large majority of humanity, harbors these wounds of separation, of fear, of denial. And so there's like this sort of convoluted maze energy that we must navigate for the self on an emotional level so that we can sort of penetrate the darkness and illusion on this planet and rise into our sovereignty. How are you guys? Good morning, good day to you. Leah's in the UK, so it's definitely a good day, isn't it? Oh, Karen, hello. I know you're awake for the live share. I've had a couple of you message me just privately being like, I'm selfish. You're on my side of the world. You're closer to my part of the planet. Which is super fun and cool, isn't it? Yeah, it might when we're in review that we might experiencing some of these deeper layers of emotions. For me personally, I'm definitely recognizing some more insidious patterns that I've been living and not fully aware of until more recently. Is it freezing in the UK? I'm visiting mom. Oh, bless you. I've seen the sun is out and um did I show you guys like my dad has a pretty cool yard. He has a pool and a hot tub and stuff. My niece is here playing. Um, so there's like this aspect of the collective intuition for me that I want to share with you guys around like recognizing servant slave patterns in our relation and recognizing that there's time to cut them out. And so we're like really facing the truth of our knowingness like in a really deep and pure way so that we can really ultimately move into our being, but we're having to kind of face down the aspect of our shadow that maybe we've been in denial of. We didn't realize denial of, and then we can only face it by seeing it for what it is in the moment. So the present moment for me right now is actually showing me another layer of sort of secret pleasing patterns, and then ultimately the release that happens out of the recognition. And it's often the release that is like the most painful. It's letting go of your past. It's letting go of because it's that same thing of like our abuse or our abuse patterns can weirdly feel familiar to us, that we don't want to break free, that we're in those abuse patterns. But I'm a good girl in that pattern. I'm a whatever it might be representative of. And yet we're still, if we recognize the pattern of abuse, or if we recognize the toxic patterning, and again about blame, it's about recognize there's a pattern and emotionally is more aware with it, or just sitting knowing that you're in this pattern, you're the one that has to do something. And for me, the biggest deepest pain is realizing that ultimately it is letting it go. It's walking away from relationships. It's and here's always my thing, because there's always party, and like things we talk about other are things that we usually do ourselves. And when I talk about releasing, letting go, walking away, it's the fact that it's in the here now present. It's that in this day and age there's multiple contacting people. There's multiple ways of reaching out and sending an apology or saying, "Hey, can we talk? Like, I'm not really sure what happened way back when," or blah 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 blah. And and even that's something that's like that's available to us. That's available. And yet I'm somebody who would honestly share with you guys, just be firm in your own knowing and be willing to walk away to the point you know that if you walked, you wouldn't have to go back. You wouldn't want to go back to discuss you blah, 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 because you already know the truth of your knowing. The truth of your knowing is all you need to know, because then, well, the truth shall set you free, and then when you're stepping into that, ultimately it's encouraging other to do the same. And if other doesn't do the same, then that choice. But then, based on the law of attraction, as you are free, at least you will not be attracting that behavior. But so long as we keep ourselves fixed in place as a people pleaser, or as the submissive one, or as the one that always trying up, like that's something that I'm facing, is that icky, like, only me again, always trying to help people out. And that's just a big pile of shit. I mean, it's not, but it is. I'm not beating myself up over this. I'm looking at the subtle layer of toxicity woven into people pleasing, woven to like trying to be nice, trying to fix, trying to be a good girl, when ultimately, if you see a pattern that's not working, it's not working. And trying to help people or fix people or micromanage people ultimately tends to click on the helper. If you guys are resonating with this, it's stuff that I permission you, as I'm permissioning myself, to walk away from those dynamics, and it doesn't have to be cruel. And yet I can imagine sometimes, just like any of us know, keep doing what they want you to keep doing, right? Right. They're some of our oldest, and they'd be connected to the ancestry and the lineage. So a lot of our physical can be squelched, or when rising, they'll really, really come up to like, this is healthy, this is not healthy. This is who you are now, this is not who you are now. And like, I can, and this is another aspect of empathy, being a highly sensitive person. It's that it doesn't ultimately matter, who's doing what, or blah, 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 but as somebody who's self-responsible, energetically speaking, if you're choosing, and I'll speak for myself, no, it's Lori, it's probably, I'm in Canada, and I don't know if that matters, but like my connection is not as strong. So the buffering is probably happening for a few of you, I'm afraid. So yeah, so being the slightly, like, if you know you're working with energy, and you're transforming, and you're like, you're reprogramming your mind, and yada yada yada, it's like, be present with your behavior, your emotions, your stuff, and then be aware of like what's going on around you. And ultimately, you can also just like the multi-layered aspects within other, and that it's not one, or it's simply my own behavior, my own react, my own feelings. And the fact is, there are certain people, certain environments that, if I really, really am honest, if I really observe, every single time brings out the same stuff in me. And the reason I can often get explosively angry, or um, like, is because in a lot of, probably again, en masse, there's so much denial. So for someone like me, there's like this huge, usually when everybody's just like, everybody's bitching about else behind everybody else's back, after a while, for me, it becomes like super painful and uncomfortable. And then I'll just feel, I'll be like, can we talk about this? But then that triggers people, that triggers other people's pain bodies. But then I blamed, right? That's when you're in toxic cycles. That's when you're in toxic abuse patterns, that like, you can't, one, you can't be yourself. And then two, if you do step into yourself, you start overcompensating, because you being yourself triggers other stuff in other people. But if other people aren't practicing self-responsibility, the moment you come in, just start being enslaved, or and if I didn't do something, I'd beat up for it. So I'm like, I'm, as an adult now, tracing back over these very, early childhood relationship dynamics, going like, yeah, I can see when I don't deserve this and I don't need this. And yet what I'm expressing vulnerability to you guys is that there's still huge unconditional love for a collective of humans. And at the same time, I know that I'm having to find the strength to just let go. You guys know as well as I do how painful it can be to just let go, and not have to look back and not have to for it and not have to like try hard to help everybody understand why someone like me has to let go of certain people, places, and things because it's too bold to hold on ultimately. And then in the letting go, it's about having faith. When you go, all you can do is have faith that everyone is supported by love and everyone is connected to God. Everyone's connected to soul. Everyone can find their own power and their own freedom and their own truth and their own choice and their own joy. Like that's I am not responsible for anybody else's joy, anybody else's success, anyone else's freedom. I can only be that for myself, and increasingly, I guess I'm aware that other people not notice or be aware or want from or desire. Who knows? All I know is that it's not my choose for other. I'll just continue to choose for myself. I am keeping an eye on the time this morning because I have a session in like 20 minutes. I think it's going to be a cool day. I went to bed really early yesterday. I went to bed at like 7, and then I woke up at like 2, and I went back to bed till like 5:30. So like I'm finally actually catching up on sleep in a real way, and um, feeling thankful for it after a lot of shenanigans, basically a lot of, and at least I made peace with the release. So that's like, um, yes, be there for you. It's a very karmic cycle. Yeah, it's so deep. Like it's so karmic. So because I know who these people are as well. Like I know these people on like on the karmic level, but I only recognized that I had to let it go yesterday. I was obviously in denial. I was hoping to just keep every this little fantasy world, and then being able to breather the other, like city, and I can't because I can't, um, you know, your being and manipulate you, and then are just really rude and inconsiderate. It's like, oh, okay. Sometimes when you get to the root of a wound, it's big, it's so painful, but that pain is ultimately what gives you the strength to walk away from it. And ultimately, what other does with that is their choice. But if they're not, if they're still want to do stuff, that they're the ones that are the abuser because they're trying to keep you certain configuration in their lives. But again, from the one being abused, and I'm like, okay, this isn't, it's not right. And so yeah, dark is coming out to where it has to go out. Exactly. Feel you, lucky you were doing for anchoring into higher dimension. Thank you, Banu. And Lori and Golden Heart and Scott and Jessica and Plasma Joel. Duh. Yeah, I this is like the fam, the deeper understanding of like the being that I am in truth versus the being that I was programmed to be in this world or for this world or for these people who again, you guys understand this polarity of having so much love for this humanity and at the same time like a perception of you don't have to be miserable, you know? Yeah, we're all just walking each other home. And I guess that's like a thing of yeah, so like sometimes I think maybe we can just like walk with certain people for a certain amount of time, and then we just have to be like, I need to actually just like your hand right now, and I have to keep walking. Bright morning for us today, for sure. I'm gonna sit by the pool. This phrase has helped me lately. Follow the peace in your heart. I know. And this is the thing. This is totally I do what I do. Like I have so much love and like peace in my heart and like and that's always been there. I just it's like when you've just been in a pattern like trying to please these certain people and trying to cool and to be accept try to be loved and like supported. Well, it's like they don't never gonna win. You're never gonna please them. You're never gonna and so like all you can do is and also how arrogant. Walk away. These people are totally fine. If they want to moan and bitch and complain, if they want to be a victim of circumstance, then that's their choice. Just let them be. But I have to continue to be responsible for myself, and why I show up and encourage myself to stay true and empowered. Nice. And I see us humans as gods and goddesses, kings and queens, creators. And I always have. And ugh, the negativity is just so painful after a while that, like, I think any of us in different areas of our lives and different things, we just bottom out, don't we? We get to the end of a rope or a road and we're like, oh, this is always where it was going to lead. And I have to step out, I have to break free. Mhm. Mhm. Mm. But that's Lori, that's a really good reminder, right? Because that's how I see ocean. It's that it is one and the same thing. Lynn, same, same. It's part of the physical level. It's the actual letting go inside that allows us to break free, but we have to walk away because those certain energies in people are representative of our past. But it's only when we break free and let go that that gives them the opportunity to evolve as well. We can't shift the dynamic in it dynamic because they're not to shift it because something that we're doing in relationship is actually enabling their victimhood. So it's only in us walking away from our enslavement patterning that them the opportunity to do the same if they so choose. But we can't stay this in the relationship, expect it to change. And that's something that is requiring just a little bit of grit in me of the fantasy. Well, and also it's go of a dynamic. That's important to recognize. Relationship eternal. So the truth of my knowing is that like I have infinite love for all beings, and so that's all there is, right? Best friends, internet friends. So it's like I have to let go, and yet in the letting go, it's like people are free. If they rise, they can rise. They want to empower themselves. They can empower themselves. I've done that. Tried so many. I don't even feel sad. Process this year, but they pull me back in. Nothing changes. Yes, no, run with straight. And you can be in the moment with it, right? Only like one day, the next day, the next day. But then when you hit the storm, for me, once the storm's coming up, then I can go in review. I can see it all I can see myself in it. I can see my role in it all as well, right? And so it's all I just I just I'm gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep moving, you know? And inner it's all inside. It's just all in the inner of my own beingness of like, I'm just done. I can't play anymore. And it hurts. It just hurts. And if you don't understand what even I'm talking about, and if I'm just this, that, or the other, and you're fine. But once you realize when people find your back, you know, nobody gets out of here in that way. I just am like essentially noticing sh- back talk and being like, I want nothing to do with that, because that's the person I am. I don't personally like sitting or like noodling. I obviously like noodling about humanity and about our patterns of behavior and you know, of course, these like loving, expansive perspectives. But personally, um, it hurts inside after a while if groups of people are just sitting around talking about other groups of people in a negative way. I just it bums me out. And so I'd rather talk about stuff and world and solutions, of course, you know. There's a lot of that, I would say, like around middle America of just like sit around and talk our problems. And like and I look around and think lives in the fucking lap of luxury in the West. Even like, you know, working classes live in lovely homes with cars and all the fucking creature comforts we could desire, and yet we sit around and moan about our shitty lives and the shitty people in our lives, and then we gather in certain and pretend like everything's fucking hunky dory, and that we all love each other so much. And I'm like, but do you? I can see what you're trying to achieve. I just don't feel the love. I feel a lot of stress and control, conditions, security, desperation, you know? Gossip is my peeve like crazy. Well, yeah, especially the more empowered we become because it really is low, it's base tone, disempowered, not owning our creatorship, anything we're saying about others. Oh, that's why it's so fucking brutal. That's why I say I can love, and then I have to walk away. That's just not the person I am anymore. And I don't have compassion for myself, but I'm also going to need to hold myself accountable when I get angry, when I react, when I try to fix and help people, because it's a bullshit fucking pattern that ends up with me just crying for hours and hours because I don't fit in here and because I it hurt and it's a pattern because every time I come back I end up just hurting very deeply. And so I can make a conscious choice to love from afar. Just love. That's thanks, Joss. The more I change, the more I hurt them and the more they need. And that's a definite hurtful things hurt you, right? Exactly. Because we feel them and then just like, oh, but it's choice. And this is something I say with full heart and like openness. Like it's my choice. I'm not part of why I'm responsible and I step away and I just observe is that aware that people might think I'm trying to get attention or like, oh yeah, God, like it's just always about you hurting. And that's why I just hide. You know, I don't put my shit onto other people. I just share here because the people who choose to share are okay to hear. It's held me back. Hmm. Well, for sure. And that's part of stepping away is that like when I'm processing stuff, I'm aware that like absorbing collective energies that are dense and resistance and all of that that persist, right? Yeah, and then and like it's only so much we can take, right? before, GT, that is it. That that is the truth. It's no responsibility to heal, say, punish, or control. So right. Hence, let live. Live and let live. You know, get to be who I am. And if people don't like it, so be it. We can I just have to keep going over it and sharing it. And yeah. Um, okay, you guys, it's 4 minutes. I have 4 minutes before I start my session, so I'm gonna head out. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I appreciate you so much. Loving the comments. Like today, again, I didn't even like have a name or anything like that. It's like real, just wanting to go up and have a chat with my besties. Like that's how this community feels to me. you know? Um, so and then jazz, isn't that just beautiful? Doesn't that just show how in alignment we all are? Of like a lot of the stuff we're processing and dealing with is just all the same. Like we're just riding out the same energies. Like otherwise, that's how you understand what I'm saying. And now I'm just gobbledygook. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Okay, I have 3 minutes. I got to go. You guys have a gorgeous day. I'm so thankful for you. I love you so much. And oh, and another thing, specifically for a couple of you who have privately messaged me because you're actually really interested in the paragliding retreat. It's canceled. I'm a little bummed. But like it's all it's all held, if that makes sense. So yes, it's canceled, the paragliding retreat, but the business affiliation will fantastic and like bored and awesome. And it's basically because venue owner this year was super duper heavy snow vibration and pool is not ready, and the pool um like layout because of the snow took a hit whereby they had to do a way bigger overhaul than what he initially thought when we took on the booking last year. And um what else? Oh, it's like major construction happening on the mountain, which she was just like, I don't think this is going to be great, Malls. I think it's going to work out in your favor. And well, thanks for your honesty. So, no more June retreat. I have to cancel the June retreat, but let's aim for another one at La Ferme. Another 5 day whole week or something where we can go paragliding. However, that means that moving forward, we have retreat in Morocco. So the Morocco retreat is October 8th to 12th. Be about the price point, 699. But if some of you are having to travel further, you can always message me. This is a large retreat. I'm pretty sure I can fit 14 to 15 people. And staying with Clear Retreats, Karen. And the Morocco retreat is going to be mega awesome because it's like surfing, yoga. I've been there I've hosted 3 retreats in Morocco already, and every time is just exquisite, transformational, so deep and full. And then you also get to learn how to surf, which is awesome, and get it. And then there's a potential 5 dayer, but there is a potential sort of downtime 2 days after if some of you would like to partake in the downtime. Okay, that's it. So no retreat, unfortunately. So be it. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And I hope to see y'all in Morocco. Look, there's my alarm. It's 8 o'clock. My session has started. I gotta go, you guys. I love you, love.